You know, Tuesday was a good day for America, a good day for democracy, and it was a strong night for Democrats. First national election since January 6th, and there were a lot of concerns about whether democracy would meet the test. It did. It did. It did.
Some of what we heard from President Biden today after Democrats avoided that red wave. Key races are still undecided in several states, including California, where our next guest is fighting to keep her seat in the House. Democratic Congresswoman Katie Porter joins us now. Congresswoman, earlier tonight, Kevin McCarthy was on Fox News. He says when all the votes are counted, he thinks she'll be defeated. What do you say to that?
Well, all the votes are not counted, respectfully, I would say. And I think that we're seeing across the country in a lot of these states, my colleagues are winning. I just had another colleague, Kim Schreier, win in Washington tonight. I think we're seeing people win in Nevada. I think we're going to see more victories come out of Arizona and California in the coming days. So, look, this is the same man who predicted a 60-vote Republican red wave and is instead, you know, it's really up to the voters here in the next few days as we count all the ballots to see whether the Democrats or the Republicans have the majority.
Well, the big red wave certainly didn't come. What is your biggest takeaway? I know you don't know your results yet, but as you look at the results across the country, what is that telling you?
Well, I think it's telling us that people can see that Democrats are standing up for their values, their ability to make their own decisions about their health care, including abortion. They're standing up for our democracy, for our Constitution, and protecting it against people who want to trample on it. And I think we're standing up for consumers and workers in this economy.
You didn't just run against a Republican opponent. You really ran against big, dark money, GOP super PAC money, at a time when many have said, well, maybe if Democrats put more money in Katie Porter's race, but there was $17 billion total put into these midterms. What is that like?
Well, I think that, you know, what we see with the dark money and the super PACs is almost all negative messaging. It's personal attacks, it's pot shots. And I think what we can see in some of these races is actually voters don't want that. They actually want to know, what are you going to do? And in the case of Democrats and Republicans here in my race, I think I was able to show Orange County families that what I do when I go to Washington is fight for them. I'm willing to stand up to corporations, to big oil when they pollute, to big pharma when they rip off patients. I'm willing to do that, and I'm willing to fight to protect our tax dollars. And I think when you put that kind of really, here's where I am side by side with you, fighting for a better economy up against personal attacks, I think voters see through that.
Is this an opportunity for Democrats to look back on this and say, let's talk more about the economy? Because every time you and I talk, you talk about what you're fighting for in Washington, and Republicans have kind of been exposed here. They're the ones that kind of get this credit for being good on the economy while offering no policies. And many, many Democrats only talk about social issues. And you know, social issues and economic issues are completely intertwined.
No, absolutely. Look, a lot of the social problems and concerns come from not having a stable job, from not having a housing that's affordable, from not having opportunity for social mobility. So I think that Democrats absolutely should talk about the economy all of the time, because we are the party that does a good job with the economy. We're the party that brought down unemployment. We're the party who's paid down the deficit. Just to mention two things we've done in the last few years. Not only that, but we've stood up to monopoly power. We've tried to create more competition in the economy. We've tried to bring manufacturing back here, including in semiconductors. We have a great message on the economy, and we don't have to choose between these issues. Americans want both. They want the ability to earn a living, raise their kids, take care of their family, save, and they also want to have their rights and freedoms as Americans at the same time.
Then what's your message to leadership within your party? What's next? Where do you all go from here? What did you learn from these midterms?
Well, I think one of the things we saw is that candidate quality matters. My colleagues who ran in these districts are tough, they're smart, They flipped seats in 2018, many of them. They hung on in 2020. And so I think we've got a great group of people who have learned how to win in tough races and in parts and pockets of this country, including Orange County, that people sometimes haven't thought we could do. I think that's a real positive. And I think the next question facing Democrats are, how are we going to create that kind of multi-generational leadership? How are we going to lift up a mix of voices in our leadership that's going to let us connect with these voters all across the country? And that includes connecting with them on economic issues.
And how are you feeling? This time tomorrow night, you'll know where you stand.
I probably will know tomorrow night. I don't know. But listen, this is the best part of a campaign in some ways, because this is the part where you know you left it all on the field. You worked hard. You listened. You got into every aspect of a community, got to know voters, knocked doors, had a great team of volunteers, spent the money that needed to be spent to win. So I am people say, aren't you stressed out? I said, no. We ran a tough race. We did everything we could do, and we feel confident it's going to pay off. So for me, this is just about catching up on laundry and letting democracy do the rest.
Then how do your kids feel tonight? You have 3 young kids that were knocking on doors with you. How are they feeling tonight?
Well, I think for kids, it's a mixed bag having a mother who's an elected official. They are definitely glad that the commercials are down. They're like, I hope they took those billboards down yesterday, Mom. So there's definitely some notoriety and some attention with it that isn't always welcome for them. But I think they also really care about what happens in this country. My children care a lot about things like climate change. They care a lot about things like abortion rights and LGBTQ equality. They care a lot about an economy that's going to make sure they have a high-paying job when they graduate. So I think they're glad to see Democrats winning and continuing to fight for a better future for them.
Katie Porter, catching up on laundry and maybe wiping off that whiteboard, getting ready for work next week. Always good to see you.